What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
Excuse me!
RadioWhat.com. What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me. Yes, little old me on the ones and twos, the digital wheels of steel at your event. I like to party with the people. I like to entertain, be with people. I have the honor of being with people at the best times in their lives, hanging out with their family and friends, and sometimes corporate events too. You know, when the boss wants to give you a little kudos, a little thank you for doing such a great job. So yeah, thank you so much for letting me be a part of the show. Speaking of a part of the show, she is the show. Coming up on the program today, Ashlie Amber. Who is Ashlie Amber? Tra-la-la? Well, you're going to find out more about who she is and how she came to be in your ears in the next few minutes. This week's shows, yes, this is the portion of the program where I would tell you which public shows I'm doing this week and which private shows I'm doing this week. But due to the novel COVID-19 coronavirus, I have no private shows, no public shows at this time. We will get through this. We will prevail. So I get to do a lot of podcasts. I get to talk to a lot of people. And, you know, I have the What Makes You Smarter podcast as well. So I get to learn some things. So maybe you could learn some things with me. And without further ado, let's get into it with Ashlie Amber. Calling Ashlie Amber now.
Hello?
Ashlie Amber, please.
Yeah, this is her.
Oh my goodness. Have I been excited to talk to you all day long?
How are you?
And even before that, this has been a long time coming. I think we planned this, about a month ago, before all the madness happened.
Yeah, before all the craziness. My schedule is so booked, so this is the first time that I had available. Yeah.
Well, yes. I think as entertainers, we're all not booked anymore so much.
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting time in the world right now, but we'll bounce back, and we'll bounce back stronger.
That's true. Well, Ashlie Amber, I've been filling my time. This is obviously Keys Dan with the What Makes You Famous podcast. I've been filling my days, my time with talking to interesting people. And one of those interesting people is you, Ashlie Amber. I get to chit chat with you. Give the people a little idea of who you are, Ashlie Amber.
Well, hi, everybody. My name is Ashlie Amber, and I am from Thornton, Colorado, and I am a singer. I'm actually a country singer, and I released my first single a few months ago, which has been going amazing, and I'm actually about to release my second single on Thursday, which is my birthday.
Hey, happy
April
birthday
23rd.
in advance. Yes.
Thank you.
That's a great birthday present.
Yeah, right. I'm excited. And you guys can't see me because this is a podcast, but one of the things that kind of makes me different and stand out is the fact that I am a curvy, sassy black female that rocks a giant mohawk, but loves country music and loves to sing country music.
Oh, yeah. I encourage you to check out the pictures. She is gorgeous. Miss Photogenic in every way. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
I have no idea how you keep all that hair in place because I had long hair when I was a wee man, you know, a younger fella. I have since had to become a finer, upstanding citizen and cut my hair. No, that's not right. That's not right. I think people with long hair are wonderful. Now, how do you keep all that in place? Is that au natural? I mean, what's your secret?
My secret to keep it in the mohawk style is I actually use banana clips. if there's anybody out there from like the 80s, 90s, they know what banana clips are. They're still a thing. So I actually have to put 3 different banana clips in my hair in order to keep it in the mohawk shape when I'm performing or doing an event or something like that, to keep it nice and centered. Yeah.
Ashlie Amber, I come from the 80s. I'm here to help. Class of 86 rules. I'm a 51-year-old man, and I celebrate that proudly. I grew up in the greatest decade. And I remember. Okay, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. You say that this that you singing a person of your heritage singing country music is different. But Charlie Pride, he was the man. He was the first African American that I remember that sang country music and really used that as one of his niches, because you figure back then, I mean, country, you find an African American, it's R&B, it's blues, it's jazz, but then to cross over into the country, it was, wow, unheard of. And
absolutely.
And here you are, all smiles and big personality. Every picture is you popping out of that photograph. You must be going into to camera lenses, just 3D. Oh, even if it's 2-dimensional, it just looks like you're coming out of there. Here I am. It's Ashlie Amber, everybody. I mean, is that what you project?
Yeah, to a lot of people, yeah, probably. I'm definitely I'm a big personality, and my looks definitely helps me to stand out, and it's something that I use to my advantage for my marketing. And but it's something that I'm proud of. I'm just proud of who I am. I'm proud to have natural afro hair, and I'm proud to be a Black woman in America right now, and I'm proud to be a woman and a woman in country music, because women are very underrepresented in country. They only make up 16% of the market. And I know you said that, Charlie, he definitely made huge strides for, African Americans in country music. But, there's only one Black female country artist that's currently signed to a major label, and it's 2020. So being a Black woman in country is still, it's groundbreaking. There's never been a Black female to hit top 40 and beyond. So there's still a movement, and it's still a big thing. So I'm really excited to be a part of that.
You're definitely a groundbreaker, and everybody has to find their niche to get in the door. And my goodness, you have gotten in the door. But with your voice, I feel like you could sing anything, any type of music that tickles your fancy. I hope that you don't limit yourself to the country genre, even though your first single, that I've heard it, I've seen the lyric video for it. Go ahead and tell the people what the name of it is.
My current single right now is called Almost Love. If you guys get a chance to check it out, it's such a great song. It was actually written by Billy Montana, who's written #1 singles for Tim McGraw, Jody Messina, Garth Brooks, and it's also co-written by the beautiful ladies of Runaway June. And if you are a current country fan right now, you've definitely heard of Runaway June, because they have their big hit song, I Can Buy My Own Drinks. So it's a great song, and it's produced by Jamie Tate, who's a Grammy and Emmy award-winning producer. And so it's all Nashville musicians, Nashville producers, Nashville songwriters. And it's a song about reminiscing on, kind of, if you think about maybe a high school love or a summer romance, somebody that you were with and you had an amazing time with, but it maybe just wasn't the right time, or you just knew that it was only for that short amount of time and you loved them, but it wasn't going to be anything else. But it's still happy feelings. It's still good reminiscing. And that's what Almost Love is about. When you listen to the song, think about that. And it's on Spotify, Apple Music, all major platforms, and just type in Ashlie Amber, ASHLIE Amber, Almost Love, and you'll find me there.
You better believe it. It's a beautiful song. You just got one more subscriber on your YouTube channel. The lyric video is out there, with your smiling face right up there on the top with your big hair and your big personality. I love it. I love it so much.
Thank you so much.
I knew this was going to be good. I've heard some of the a few of the interviews that you've had, some of the videos that you have out on your Instagram and such, and you've had other. I usually don't do a lot of research for these things, because I want them to be very organic. The way we chit chat, and I find out more about Ashlie Amber, and in turn, my listeners are finding out more about you. You know, country artist based out of Vegas, Nashville. Your new singles coming out. But now, where are you from? Are you from Vegas?
No, I'm from Thornton, Colorado. So Thornton is the suburb of Denver.
Yes.
So, and if anybody's never been to Colorado, definitely go. It's an amazing place. And yeah, that's why I grew up listening to pop country and top 40. So that's why I love country music so much, and just music in general. I listen to everybody. I don't discriminate when it comes to music.
Well, you did mention that you were from Colorado in the beginning. Forgive me for forgetting. It was almost like 6 minutes ago. You know,
it's all good.
But that's how things go, Ashlie Amber. I'm trying to stay connected, stay focused, stay in the now as we discover and dig into how Ashlie Amber became Ashlie Amber. Then you're from a suburb of Denver, the Mile High city. How do you feel living less than a mile high, or how was it growing up a mile above sea level? Were you good at breathing? No, did it help your breathing techniques?
Actually, yeah. It's funny. A lot of Olympic athletes, and they train in Colorado Springs because the altitude is so high. So yeah, it was definitely an advantage. They say if you can play sports or you can sing in Colorado, you can basically sing anywhere. The only problem is once you leave Colorado for a long period of time and then go back, it's extremely difficult. I went away and was traveling the world and was gone for years, and I went back to Colorado and tried to perform, and I was like, why is it so dry and why is it so hard to breathe here? What is happening? And because the altitude, it really does make a difference. I mean, come on, there's special instructions on how to bake a cake because the altitude is so high there.
Well, maybe I'll get some calls from the people in Colorado. I've spent some time in Vail and Aspen, and is it Silver Springs? Is there a Silver Springs there? I know I've done several trips to Colorado. Oh, I've even done some parties in Golden, College Town. Definitely done some parties out there DJing. Colorado is very familiar to me. It's a free state. It's a very advanced state as far as they're taking care of their, free thinking. Is that something you felt growing up in Colorado?
Yeah, absolutely. I was very fortunate to have grown up in Colorado. I got to experience, both, sides of my heritage, because I'm actually mixed. My mom is white and my dad was black. And so I got to experience kind of the best of both worlds. And even though I grew up in the suburbs, we still played sports with, the more diverse schools in the districts. And also my family in Southern California is predominantly black. So, I just kind of got the best of everything growing up, and Colorado was very welcoming, and they're very accepting, and nobody cares. They're just happy people, just like anywhere else.
I like that
Good
a
old
lot.
Midwest. Yeah.
People are people. I'm from Miami myself, and I think I have a first cousin who is black as night. So I'm half Cuban. So I know that somewhere in the Caribbean, I must have some Afro-American in there somewhere, or some Afro in there somewhere. And I love it.
Yeah, probably.
The life in Miami, it's a melting pot. There's so many different cultures and people loving people. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is. Now you say, well, I mean, we can dig a little bit into the cultures of your mom and dad. What did you learn from mom, and then what did you learn from dad?
I just learned to be proud. When my parents got together, it was at a time where it still was kind of frowned upon to be in an interracial marriage and have kids and things like that. So I just learned to love everybody and to just accept people for who they are, because at the end of the day, we all have feelings. We're all going through our own personal struggles. We all have goals, and everybody has hardships. So that's one of the things I learned from my parents, is that they loved each other regardless of what people told them they should do. And that's something that we grew up with, and that's something that I value very much. And I'm very, very thankful for that.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay. Racism is definitely taught because I grew up in Catholic school, and at least until probably sixth grade, I went to Catholic school. I didn't know black from white. I didn't know brown from red, from green, from yellow, from whatever. People were people. We got along, and it was just to have that growing up. It had to be so good for your spirit, to have to know that people are people. And yeah, I guess there was a time when it was illegal at one point for the races to mix. Is that? I mean, when did your parents get married? Do you remember, or did you know?
My parents married in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Because my older brother was born in 1980.
Okay.
So yeah, they got married in the late 70s, which at that time, obviously, things were fine, but people were more open. But the civil rights movement was in 1955. So if you think about it, it was only 20 years. My dad was born in 1954. So if you really think about it, it was still at a time where it was new, and not everybody was accepting, especially depending on where you were from. So again, I'm just thankful that they fell in love, and thankful that they didn't care and they chose to be together and chose to raise us with those same beliefs that you just love who you love, and as long as people are kind and you're kind to them, that is what matters the most.
Oh, I'm glad they got together too, because without them, they wouldn't have an Ashlie Amber in our lives. We wouldn't have you, the amazing Ashlie Amber, just fantastic. And you say
Thank you very much.
You have an older brother. How much older?
My older brother is quite a few years older than me. If I tell him my exact age, then I'll age myself because I told him the year.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is I was very vain until I turned 50. I turned 50 last year. I'm 51 now. And until I was 50, because I was in the entertainment business, being the DJ and being out there in the world and having to worry about those things. But then when I turned 50, I think a switch hit in my brain and said, you know what? I'm 50. I own this. I can stretch. Yeah. I can kick. I stretch. I'm 50, which is an old Molly Shannon routine from SNL, but that's another story. No, okay, yes, you told, okay, you have an older brother. He's somewhat older. Was he very protective of you? How's your relationship with the bro, and what does he do?
Well, I have an older brother. I have an older sister, and I have a twin brother, actually.
What?
So there's 4 of us total. Yes.
Fantastic. Yes. There's a lot of you around there. You could brag on the siblings. Brag on the mom and dad first. I mean, what did they do for a living, and how, what essentially, I mean, besides the love everybody, love the people, doesn't matter who you fall in love with. What did they teach you by way of their work ethic? What did they do for a living?
Well, the great thing is they had nothing to do with music.
Okay.
I'm the only one in my immediate family that has that pursues music, and is music is my entire life. And my mom, I actually technically don't know what her job title is because it's a technical thing, but basically she builds networks for like major companies and makes sure they run properly. So she works for AT&T, and she's in like the office and management, and like so big companies like Kraft and like Disney who run on networks. She's the person that makes sure that they run properly. Uh-huh. And my dad passed away when I was 12. Oh. But he did construction. He worked for the union, so he was very much worked with his hands, and very strong. And yeah, so that's what my parents did. And we were very active in the sports, actually, as kids, and a very sports family. My dad coached us for like basketball and for soccer. And that's what we did on the weekends. We were always gone, either watching my older brother and sister play basketball or soccer, or my twin and I, we would be in, playing soccer or basketball. So we were very active in the sports. It wasn't until after my dad passed away that I actually started to pursue music, and music became my outlet for grieving. And that's kind of how I started my journey as a singer, and which has led me, to where I am today.
Wow, Ashlie Amber. I mean, you've spelled it out there. Yes, you blew my theory. I always find that I've talked to a lot of artists, and music is in the blood, but none of the people in your family are in music at all. Not even a musical instrument or singing or any talent of that sort. Your mom is a very technical person, and your dad was a very hands person. So you had the best of both worlds in that respect. You could have gone so much different, but hey, yes, your dad passed away, and through that pain, you found creativity. That happens so much. Ashlie Amber, learning a lot about you.
Yeah, it's losing a. I mean, technically, we are, as kids, we're supposed to bury our parents. I mean, that's how the rule goes. But a 12-year-old kid, shouldn't have to go through that. The goal is to hopefully that we get to bury our parents when we're older, and we've got to enjoy them, and they've walked us down the aisle, and we've cried on their shoulders, and they helped us, help us through our bad decisions and our good decisions and all of those things. But unfortunately, that just wasn't how life worked for us. But it's up to us and you as an individual to decide how something like that is going to affect you and how you're going to move forward in life. And I just chose to use it as my grounding, as my strength, and as my will, to do what I do, is because I want to continue to make him proud.
Well, Ashlie Amber, I'm so thankful for it. It could have gone a different way. And yes, to lose a parent at such a young age. I mean, we're told that kids are made of rubber. Kids are resilient. And thankfully you found some resilience, but who filled that void? I mean, mom had to take the role of mom and dad, and maybe your older siblings perhaps. So
absolutely. My mom, I don't know how she did it. She had to finish raising 4 kids all of her own. And she's, by far the strongest woman I know. And I don't know how she did it, but whenever I needed new basketball shoes, I got new basketball shoes. And then sure enough, I would need new basketball shoes, and then, get to school and the team decides, hey, we're going to have matching team shoes. So then I'm like, Mom, I need another pair of new basketball shoes. So sorry. And she came to all my choir concerts. And honestly, I don't know how she did it. I mean, I remember her driving me all the way to Las Vegas when I was 17 to audition for American Idol. She was just always so supportive. And she did what moms do and what parents do. They step up and, they make sure that they provide, for their kids. And that's why I'm so determined, and my work ethic is because I saw it firsthand from my mom. And so I love her, and she's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got it from mom. You definitely got your strength from mom. You mentioned the Runaway June song. I don't need a man to buy me a drink. The empowerment, if people don't think that women rule the world, you do. You have all the power. It's always been said that, men rule the world. No, the women turns the man. I think there was the big fat Greek wedding. I don't know why this is coming in my head. Yes, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck and can turn him any way she wants. And you can use that. I mean, that's something that you learn from your mom, that she had the strength to raise 4 children. I mean, you could brag on the other kids, your older brothers and sisters, and the twin. Wow, how is it growing up as a twin? Expound, Ashlie Amber, expound.
Yeah, growing up as a twin, I think it might have been different had me and my twin were maybe identical.
Okay.
But having a twin brother, I think we're just so different people. We're very opposite. And my mom used to dress us in matching outfits, and, we always had somebody to walk to school together, but we don't get into a lot of trouble. And I used to pick on him a lot. So we would always be getting into trouble. And, But, I remember one time as kids in middle school, for some reason, they go by alphabetical order, sometimes how they assign you to classrooms. And somehow we got put in the same core classes, and we had like 4 classes together. And that did not work out for very long. Actually, within a few weeks, they separated us and they separated us and moved us into different core classrooms. But because I'm very competitive, and anybody who knows me, my friends, my family knows that I like to be the best that I can be, and I'm very competitive, and I want to be like, oh, that's cool. Well, you got an A. Well, I got an 8. So growing up with a twin, it was very competitive, I guess you can say, in that way, which is, again, kind of how I turned out, how I am now. So it was fun, and my siblings are very supportive in what I do, and they're all doing their own thing, and they are absolutely crushing it. And, I'm actually an auntie as well, so I'm very proud of that, and having my niece and my 2 nephews. So yeah, it's great to have, be a part of 4 kids, and then to have the family grow and grow now that there's nieces and nephews, and my mom is now a grandma. So it's really cool, and I'm very proud of my family, and I'm very proud of where I come from. So.
Oh, Ashlie Amber, if you're going to do it right. Do it to the best that you can do. You're giving people gems. If you strive to be the best at whatever you do. I mean, thankfully you have a job. Hopefully it's starting. It's a job that you love, and you will always love, and you'll never have to work a day again. But one thing out of that story that kind of tinged a memory in my head is sitting in alphabetical order. Now, my name is Daniel Gilson from Western High School in Davie, Florida. That's when I went to school. But in middle school and high school, I remember I was put in alphabetical order, and I sat behind Danielle Gilliland, and I had such a crush on her. So sitting behind people, right? You made me think about Danielle Gilliland. I love.
Oh, that's sweet.
And funny, that's what your song's about. That's where I was going. Man, you beat me to the punch on that one. The transition. Now, this is a song that you had a part in writing, or you had helpers writing as well.
So basically what happened is I met my now manager, who saw me perform and was just absolutely blown away. And he's like, hey, I would love to work with an artist like you. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that sounds great, but I kind of have this going on, so now is not the right time. And he's like, well, give me here's my contact information. Let's stay in touch. And, he's like, I've worked with this people and this people and this people. And he's a country artist. And I was like, I didn't believe him at first. I was like, whatever. I was like, he's not even real. And he's like, yeah. He's like, blah, blah, blah. And he was naming all these country people. And I was like, oh, it's funny. I've always wanted to be the Beyonce of country. He's like, hey, that's a great idea. And he gave me his card. And I kind of didn't think anything of it. I was like, he's just blowing smoke, like whatever. And then later that night, I went and Googled him. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's a legitimate person. And he really was a country artist. And oh my gosh. And so we just kept in touch for 2 years. And then one day I just called him up, and almost a year, just a little over a year ago right now, I called him up and I was like, hey, like, remember when I said I wanted to be the Beyonce of country? I was like, I was dead serious, and I'm ready right now for that journey. And he said, all right, I'm all in. And then he made a couple phone calls, and Jamie Tate, he responded and was like, I want to meet her. And then 2 weeks later, I flew out to Nashville, met with him, and then right there on the spot, he was like, let's do it. And then a couple months later, once my schedule was free, because I was so booked from performing, I went and recorded Almost Love. That was the very first song that I recorded. It was the very first song I was pitched. And that's how it happened. So Dawn and Jamie got all these talented people and was like, hey, we got this amazing artist. We need hit songs for her. And, you know, they sent me their stuff, and I picked songs that I can relate to and that I fell in love with, and that it's as if I wrote it myself. So that's why I picked Almost Love. And I love it. It's such a great song.
Well, yeah. Ashlie Amber, once again, you're giving people gems to be apprehensive of someone that hands you their card and says, I'm going to make you a star, baby, a star. Well, you imagine the people in the past, just a mere 20 years ago, who did not have Google, the ability to quickly find out everything about everybody at any time with the computer that's in your pocket all the time. You were able to do that. Somebody would have had to maybe look their number up in the yellow pages, maybe call some friends, maybe find out that, a lot of musicians, artists have signed on with people and have been given a raw deal, so to speak. But you were very wise to check things out before you signed that dotted line.
Yeah. I'm kind of a researcher, and I like to make sure I know what I'm getting into. And I'm very much on the business side of things and very active with everything that's going on. So I looked him up, and he was legitimate, and I made the phone call, and we had already developed, some sort of like a acquainted type relationship, through social media and things like that. And it turned out to be the best phone call I ever made. So, and now I've my life is moving in a direction that I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. And so I'm just really excited and really blessed. And, the fact that Almost Love has, with no marketing, has already hit over 50,000 streams on Spotify, and it's already had its, debut on, the radio. And, I'm releasing my second song, and, I have major labels that are interested in meeting with me. It's just really, really, really exciting. And I'm just so thankful and so blessed to be able to kind of be the front runner in a movement for women and a movement for women of color within country music.
It has to feel so good to put something out there and to have people respond to it with such, gratitude and excitement. But you did allude to it was a dream since you were a little girl. Let's go back. When did you first start singing in front of people?
I started singing when I was 6 years old. I've told this story before. It's actually
tell it all the time. I want to hear it.
I started singing when I was 6. I was in the car with my mom and dad in the back seat, and the radio was on. And I was just singing along, living my best life. And if there's any 90, Army fans that are listening to this podcast, they probably remember the song. It went a little like, hey, Mr. DJ, we can get this started. Everybody's ready to party all night. So that's
chills just went up my spine. and artist, if you want to, okay, it's a little cliche and a little bit, if you want to get your song played on the radio, say, hey, Mr. DJ, put the word DJ anywhere in that song. It will get airplay more often than not. Continue with the story, Ashlie Amber.
So I was just singing to that song, and my dad actually switched off the radio, and I just kept singing because I was, I'm a little kid. I was just in my own world. And about 30 seconds later, so he turned the radio back on, and I was in the same place as the song, and I was still in the same key. And he just was like, he looked in the the rear view mirror, and was like, did you know you could sing? And I was like, and I just went along with it. And honestly, I drove my family crazy after that. I remember having one of those Walkmans, the cassette players with those terrible flimsy headphones that are like those little black little things, and it has the thin wire that shaped over your head like a headband. And I would just sing at the top of my lungs. Nobody else could hear what I was listening to. And I would drive them crazy. They would be like, Ashlie, please just be quiet. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to sing my TLC, and I'm going to sing on to my witnesses, and I'm going to sing on to everything, and you're going to love it.
You better believe it. There was a stage wherever you were on stage just singing for the people. How did your parents shape that out of you? So you already alluded to that you went to American Idol, but before that, there was a whole lot of singing to be done. Were you singing in school? Were you doing anything in the classroom, at school dances, talent shows, anything?
Yeah. I was in all the above. I sang in choir. My first time in choir was in the fourth grade. It was for fourth and fifth graders. And at the time, only fifth graders were allowed to do solos. And I remember getting my first solo in the fourth grade, and everybody was jealous because they were like, "Why does she get to sing a solo? She's not a fifth grader; she's a fourth grader." And so I sang in choir, and I was always competitive, and I sang. And when I got to middle school, I was in choir, but then I started singing the national anthem for the basketball games and for the football games. And then I was also doing talent shows. And then in high school, again, I was in choir, I was in talent shows, I was singing the national anthem. I, auditioned for American Idol when I was 17. And, just performing and singing as much as I can for pep assemblies. I mean, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. So, and then I moved on into a career of musical theater after high school and was performing all over for musical theater and doing shows like Run and The Color Purple and Avenue Q and The Who's Tommy and just all kinds of stuff. And then led me into a different direction, which ultimately led me into where I'm at right now. So it's been quite a journey. I haven't just done one thing. I'm pretty well rounded as far as performing and being able to perform lots of genres of music. So I'm very, very thankful for the way my career path has gone thus far.
Ashlie Amber, you're letting the people know if you want to be anything, you got to work at it. People that think, oh, she's an overnight success. No, she's been working since she was 6. Ashlie Amber had been first annoying the family with the singing, but then honing that craft and getting on stage. And you gave us the highlights. You did things like Rent and musicals. I love musicals. West Side Story is my favorite. What's yours? What's your favorite?
Great musical. My favorite musical. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm a bit biased because I've been in them, but my favorite musical that I've ever been in is Avenue Q. I played Gary Coleman, and it was a lot of fun.
What is it about? I've never heard of Avenue Q.
Avenue Q is from the same writers who did the Book of Mormon. And so it was very cutting edge at the time, and it pushes a lot of issues about, I guess, like sex and homosexuality and just being more open about your sexual orientation just in general. So it's a very funny musical. It's with puppets and with real people, and the real people are miming along to the puppets. And Gary Coleman is like the superintendent of this particular apartment complex. And it's always played by a Black female. And so it's a really funny, it's a lot of fun, really lighthearted, lots of laughs, great music, musical. Yeah.
It was done by Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the South Park guys?
Yeah, the South Park guys, yes.
It had to be hilarious. I got to see this.
You should see it. It's a great musical. If it's in your area or you're traveling somewhere and it's there, I definitely recommend seeing the show. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I've heard great things about the Book of Mormon as well, but just their humor, it's raunchy. All right, so parents and little ones, watch out. But it's definitely pop culture, so to speak. And I have a lot of South Park shirts, so I'm familiar with their humor. I like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Oh my goodness! So you man, well-rounded, and playing Gary Coleman, like Gary Coleman, the actor.
Yeah, Gary Coleman, the actor. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I actually played him kind of hood. That's what I call him.
Okay.
I had like baggy jeans and oversized shirt and like a cap and some what are those shoes? Some Timberlands. I was rocking it. I had a great time. If you Google my name, you can find some photos of me dressed up as Gary Coleman somewhere on the internet. They are there.
Hey, the late great Gary Coleman. That man, he shaped my life growing up. Different Strokes was definitely a part of my history, of my pop culture. And whenever he showed up in a movie, my goodness, it was just like it's Gary Coleman, check it out. I know he had some trouble as life progressed for him, but definitely Gary Coleman. Hey, if you're going to play him in a musical, always played by a female?
That's how the musical is written. I mean, I'm sure maybe sometimes they cast it however they can cast it, but typically it's meant to be played by a Black female. Yeah.
That Matt Stone and Trey Parker, those cats.
Yeah.
And they'd probably want me to say it in the opposite order. It's Trey Parker and Matt Stone, because I think they have a little ego problem there. And whenever I've seen them in interviews, it's always you have to say it that way.
That's probably like a running joke.
I suppose it is. The last interview I heard with Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they said if it all ever fell apart, we got the fishing poles in the trunk. We'll go back to Colorado, and that's another thing is you have that influence from Colorado because they're actually from a little town in Colorado. That's where South Park.
South Park,
is based. Yeah. So I mean, was that the reason that they were doing that in Colorado, or just it happened to be a coincidence?
No, it just happened to be a coincidence. It's a very popular musical, and the rights were released to it for regional theaters to be allowed to do the show. So one of the theater companies that's still in Colorado jumped on it and did a production, and it was a blast. It's so much fun. I don't get to play comedic roles very often, so it was a lot of fun to be able to do that.
Yeah. And acting. Yeah. Okay, yes, you're a great singer, a great country singer, to put it in a smaller box, but you're an actress as well. I mean, is that the acting that you've done? Is that the extent of it, or are you pursuing that further? Are you going out for auditions? I guess you're in Vegas now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas, and then I'm also in Nashville a lot too. Obviously, right now, not at this time because of the current, situation that the world is in. But yes, I do normally travel a lot, but right now I'm in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of opportunity in Vegas. I'm not a gambler, but I love Las Vegas. Circus is probably my favorite casino, my favorite place to go. One of my favorite places to go in the world. I mean, I love that. Yeah, I mean, just because of the circus. Yeah, of all places, because it's like I said, I'm not the gambler. I think when I was 16, I might be incriminating myself. I put a quarter in a slot machine. That's the extent of my gambling. I was 16 on a family trip to Vegas, and I've been through there on I-40, and every time I go by, I got I guess it's 15 from Los Angeles. So yeah, I mean, every time I go there, I have to stop and I have to at least take a look through the city or take a walk through on the strip and see all the lights and see all the things. I mean, but are you right in Vegas, or are you just outside of it?
I'm just outside of Vegas. I live in basically the suburbs, about 15, 20 minutes away from the strip. So where I live, it's totally normal, domestic, very quiet, very peaceful, just everyday life, which is what I love so much about it, because it's very quiet. And then, just 15 minutes, towards the strip, and you have all this nightlife, when everything is open and, things like that. It's an amazing place. So many shows, so many great people from all over the world, and always something to do in Vegas, always.
Well, when you broke out of high school in Colorado, I mean, did you go to college at all? Was there a backup plan, or where did little Ashlie Amber go after high school was over?
No, actually, I hated school. I did not like school at all. I was kind of if there's anybody out there that remembers Bebe's kids, I was a kid.
They don't die; they multiply.
Exactly. Oh, look out, it's Bebe's kids. So I was a bit of a troublemaker, especially in middle school after, my dad passed away. I got in trouble a little bit, and then, found music and got into it and started to get back into sports and things like that. And, I turned it around and, graduated with a good GPA and, turned things around. But I didn't like school. I just wanted to sing. I wanted to perform. And, instead of going to college, I just decided to go more on music. And, I've just been doing it ever since. And, it hasn't always been easy. I did have to work, other jobs. I waited tables, don't want to age myself, but for a decade, of my life, I have waited tables. I started young. It was basically my first job in high school. I was in high school when I started waiting tables for the first time. And, that's kind of what my life was. And, I'm very thankful for it. And I've learned a lot. And again, because of that, because I didn't just pick one thing, I've been able to be versatile and have a lot of diversity within my performing. And I've sung at Catholic churches, and I've done musical theater, and I've sung in party bands, and I sing country, and I am known for a Whitney Houston tribute internationally. So I mean, I'm just thankful to be a working performer, and the more tricks you have in your basket, or more tricks you can pull out of your hat, the more opportunity you have to work and to continue to work.
Oh yeah, Ashlie Amber, you got to hustle in this job. You can't just sit on your laurels and say, "Oh, they'll call me. They'll call me to come sing for them." No, you either have an agent, some representation, and that comes with a price as well, to where you give them a little bit of a percentage, and so they can book for you. And I've had that before myself, to where I've had them book me. But for the most part, I promote myself and go out and get the jobs. I'm my own agent. Where do you find yourself on that end of the spectrum? Do you promote yourself, or do you find that having an agent is a better option?
As a performer, it just depends on what you're doing. Specifically for my main performing job, which I've been doing and have been very fortunate to see the world, you have to have an agent. You can't get booked without one. So, I do have an agent, and they're very kind, and they handle all of my travel arrangements, my hotel arrangements. And basically all I have to do is they give me the email, and I just show up, and, and I do my job, and they handle everything else, which is amazing. But, some things you don't. And, when I was more in Colorado and doing more musical theater, I didn't need an agent for that, because I was able to just go to an open call and do that. But, when you're in New York, you don't need an agent, but it does help to have one. And eventually, once you do get on Broadway, you end up getting an agent, because then they help you get, more work. So agents do have pros and cons. It just depends on what you're doing. But as an artist, like, if you're going more of the pop route, or more like radio, or like what I'm doing, like country, like right now, an agent isn't really what you need. You need more of a manager who can open up doorways for you and get you connections and help you with things like that. And they're similar but different, because a manager is a bit more personalized, whereas an agent tends to have a lot of acts under their belt. Whereas a manager, you tend to be their sole focus.
Well, you've mentioned Colorado, you've mentioned Nashville, and you've mentioned Vegas. I mean, what other places have experienced the Ashlie Amber experience?
I was in DC for a few years. I wanted something new, and so I lived there for a few years, and I performed out there. And I've auditioned in New York a few times. So I've kind of been in a couple different places. But as far as living, I've lived in Colorado, DC, and Las Vegas. And then as far as visiting a lot, I visit a lot in Nashville right now, so I spend a lot of time there, but I don't have a home there as of right now.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm perused your autobiography. You've had several jobs, but and me being in Miami, I've done a lot of weddings on boats, but you've actually worked on cruise ships. What's that all about? And how was that for you?
I've been very fortunate. So, what I've been very fortunate to do is I headline my own show, which is a celebration to the one and only Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
And it's a fun show. I'm 100% Ashlie Amber. I'm celebrating her music and her prime, but I put my own twist on it. And I've been to 70 countries, and I just finished a residency on board the most cutting edge and talked about ship in the world, which was the Celebrity Edge. They gave me a 1-year residency on board where I performed my show every single cruise. So I've been very fortunate, and it's allowed me, again, 70 different countries, my house, and all kinds of stuff. So I'm very thankful. And do what I love and get to connect with people from all over the world. So it's honestly one of the best performing gigs you could get. Really, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's only second maybe to a residency in Vegas,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
where you have a steady gig.
Yeah, there's different levels. I mean, like next would be like a residency in Vegas, or up from a residency in Vegas would be like what I'm pursuing now is in the process of getting a record deal and being able to sell at arenas or go on tour with Carrie Underwood or I don't know, Kane Brown one day. So
how amazing would that be? I mean, have you?
Yeah.
Have you been able to do concerts in front of large groups? I mean, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, well, I definitely in front of large groups, and sometimes people don't realize how many people are on cruises, but some ships hold 10,000 people. That's including crew, but you're performing in front of 3,000-4,000 people a night when you do a show. So they're not small venues. So I've been very fortunate to hone my craft and get the opportunity to really develop as a performer, not just a singer or an artist, but as a performer, because they're completely different things. You can be a great singer and a terrible performer. That's why the stars. That's why you have Beyonce and Michael Jackson and Prince, because they're equally talented singers as they are performers.
Absolutely. And having a tribute to the late, great Whitney Houston, what a lofty goal to to strive for. My goodness. But to have a residency on a ship and to perform, over and over and over, honing your craft. That's like having a practice, but in front of people. You have to be getting better and better and better every time you do these performances.
Exactly. Yeah.
What an amazing thing.
Yeah.
You're giving people gems. If they want to be singers, go sing, go do it. Go be on American Idol. Go try out. I mean, what was your experience with American Idol? I have to ask.
American Idol. I'm very thankful for the experience. I actually have a book about it. You can find it at ashlieamber.com. Just remember Ashlie again. It's ASHLIE Amber.com, and it's called How Getting Cut from American Idol Changed My Life. And it's just a short book about my experience, about the behind the scenes, because I actually auditioned for the show 4 different times, 4 separate seasons, and a total of 10 auditions before I actually made it on the actual show in front of the celebrity judges and going to Hollywood. So a lot of people think you just kind of roll out of bed and like, hey, I'm going to audition for American Idol and yay, I'm going to be a star. But it's a really long process, and the people who do make it all the way to the finals or the top 12 or things like that and who win, it's been a year or 14, 15 months of their life that they've been going through this process of pre-auditions before you get to the judges, and then so much stuff before you even get to see the live episodes. So it's quite a journey and it's quite an experience, and I'm very thankful to have been a part of it, and I'm happy to say that I got to experience it and that I got to be a part of the history that American Idol has left behind. And I have some great friends that are from the season that I was on, and we're also performing just in completely different ways. So, which is very cool.
Ashlie Amber, never give up, never surrender. What season were you on, and who were the judges?
I had Randy Jackson, Steven Tyler, and Jennifer Lopez. And it was the 2012 season of American Idol, which I believe is season 11.
Amazing. Get your DVDs out. Look for her. She's out there.
I didn't get a ton of airtime. I barely got any, but I still got to be a part of the experience, which is very cool.
I think by that time I was already into something else to where I couldn't watch so much. I was, I remember Kelly Clarkson. I remember, Ruben, Studdard. I remember a few of them. I even remember Sanjay because of the controversy that he brought to the show. Getting so many people to vote for him. But I'm so glad that you got the opportunity, because I think that made a lot of people realize whether they had it or they didn't have it. And it sounds like it helped you to solidify that you had it, and you have it. You still have it, Ashlie Amber. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. I think with shows like that, for anybody who's listening to, this podcast that, is a performer and is an inspiring performer. It's really great to go on shows like that and to get that experience, because if you are one of the ones that are lucky enough to make it all the way and get that exposure, it's incredible. But just because you don't, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's so many famous performers that didn't even make it to the judges. They didn't even make it past preliminaries on American Idol, and they are extremely successful. I mean, you have Kobe Calais, you have the lead singer of Lady Antebellum, you have Amber Riley, who plays Mercedes in Glee. I mean, these are all people that didn't even make it to the judges. Like, they didn't even get passed by the producers. I made it further than they did, and look at their careers. So when it comes to singing and when it comes to performing, talent only gets you so far. It's how hard you work. It's how smart you work. It's knowing the business. It's knowing how to market. It's knowing that, Facebook and social media is important, and the way you present yourself on stage is important, and just all of these other aspects are so important. So just go out there and just do it, and don't let anybody tell you no, and just practice and keep practicing. And no matter how hard you work, no matter how good you are, there's always room for improvement. And there's always there might be somebody who's better than you, but that doesn't matter, because it's not just about talent. It's about so much more. What else do you have to bring to the table other than just being able to sing?
Ashlie, Amber, that brings us to where we are around now. Yeah, you're in Vegas. You get out to Nashville from time to time. We're all pretty much quarantined. The whole entertainment business is on lockdown. All the bars and restaurants have closed. I don't get to DJ on the weekends like I usually do. My karaoke shows are done for. My weddings are done for. I'm it's kind of sad, but I do. As a creator, and you're probably doing it yourself, you just move your creative juices to something else, writing new songs, doing different things. How are you letting your juices flow right about now as we're locked up in the house?
Yeah, I'm taking this time to really focus on my branding and my marketing and my the business aspect of things. And we decided we were going to wait to release my second single, but because of all of this, we went ahead and decided to release another one, because now is the time where people need music and they want new music because they're running out of things to do or new music to find. And I'm doing a live event this Thursday for my birthday, and I'll be performing Almost Love, an acoustic version of that, as well as I will be performing for the very first time and premiering my brand new single, which is called My Revenge. And so I've just been trying to make the most of my time and utilizing this as an opportunity to really hone in on my craft and my music and this project and building my brand and connecting with fans and reaching out to people and using it for that.
Well, Ashlie, Amber, I give you thanks in advance for giving a birthday present from yourself to the world. Yes, the people need to be entertained, and I know that a lot of artists are doing these lives. Putting a little PayPal or a Venmo at the bottom. Busking for the most part. Are you playing any instruments, or do you have anybody that's going to be backing you up? You say it's an instrumental?
Yeah. So I'm very fortunate to have one of my best friends from high school. Actually, we've known each other for over half of our lives, for a really, really long time. And he is here, and he is a guitarist and a very talented vocalist as well. So he is going to be playing guitar for me and singing some backup vocals. And I also have my other best friend who's here, and she's going to be singing some backup vocals as well. Well, we're all performers. We're all headliners on ships, and we're all just kind of hanging out. So, they're going to come hang out with me as I get to share my original music with my fans and hopefully with some new listeners, and just have a good time and celebrate my birthday and celebrate, isolation and, all the things that come along with it. So just having fun.
Ashlie, Amber, shout outs, please. Shout outs to the friends that are helping you out on Thursday.
Yeah, so shout out to my friend Catherine Williams and shout out to my friend Andrew Diesner. For those of you, you can find them, and you can find me through my social media, which everything is Ashlie Amber, Ashlie Amber, and that's, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the things, Ashlie Amber. So.
Ashlie Amber, you are well branded. I mean, I will put all the links in the show notes. I have your website, and it definitely has all the links to the socials, and I'll put those in the show notes as well, so people know how to get a hold of you and book you as soon as this novel COVID-19 coronavirus is done. You need to be booked everywhere. It should be Ashlie Amber all the time in your head. Get the posters, get the mugs, get the T-shirts.
Yes, do it. And you can still book me at this time. I just got booked for an online gig where I'm performing for a fundraiser, through Zoom. So, I mean, people are still finding ways to bring live entertainment to people's living rooms, and still, do events and do charity things, and still, move forward, even though we are in this difficult time where the world is literally on hold.
Well, the conspiracy theory is that Zoom created this, and they're reaping the rewards. No,
they're reaping all the benefits.
No, I have to look into that Zoom. I've been using Skype when I do podcasts from all over the world, but I guess I need to check out the Zoom because I'm hearing good things. I'm hearing, but I get good audio from Skype. But hey, I'll give it a shot.
Hey. But I think Zoom allows you to use multiple people at the same time. It's a platform where 5 or 6 of you can be on a call all at the same time, or meeting style type thing.
Well, that's got to help the people that are working from home. And are you still doing any Joe jobs? I know that you did the serving, the waitressing. I know I did that when I was struggling as I was coming into it. It's a good way to make cash money on the daily, so for those folks that think, I want to be this, but I'm doing this. Well, you got to have money in your pocket. You had a good work ethic.
Yeah, you do. Actually, no, I'm very fortunate because my performing is my main job. I have a pretty decent social media following, so I'm starting to get kickback from that, as well as my Whitney Houston celebration has me booked a year and a half in advance working. Last year I was out of the country 10 months out of 12, performing all over the world. So I perform full time. That's my job. And that's always been my dream, is to be a 100% full-time working performer. And that's what I do. And I'm very fortunate. And although, cruises are on hold and travel is on hold and the entertainment industry is on hold, it's been heavily affected by all of this due to the large crowds that performance draws. But everything will bounce back and everything will be fine. And we are looking out for each other and we're standing by each other. And fortunately, the type of performing that I do is it's very high up there. So I'm very thankful to be able to do what I love and get better at doing what I love every single day, and also make a great living while doing it.
Oh, Ashlie Amber. And I've been telling people on this podcast, and I want to reiterate, for those people that have a venue and have an event that is planned, please don't cancel it, postpone it. Postpone. That word means a lot to a performer. That means that they'll have a job in the future. If you cancel it, that means that everybody loses. All the people that were in the band and the roadies and all the people that were in support of that are out of work. Please just postpone it till after this is done. All right, Ashlie Amber. Usually, as I'm thinking that we got a good idea of who you are. Yeah. As we round this out, usually I let people do the last words for the people. It could be words that you live by, maybe something that you heard in the past, or just something that you come up with at this moment in time. Ashlie Amber, give the last words for the people.
I would just say at this time, for everybody who's listening, this is a really strange time for the world and for a lot of people. And a lot of people are hurting and a lot of people are experiencing struggles that they've never experienced before. So be patient and be kind and be smart, and remember that your actions affect other people. They don't just affect you. So remember that it's more important now to not be selfish and to think of others and to just spread love. And I know that sounds cliche, but that's what the world needs. We need love, and we need smiles, and we need to support the people that are on the front line that are fighting this pandemic. And we need to do our job and stay home so that they can eventually stay home as well. And so just be kind. That's all I can say. And that's what my motto is. It's just be kind.
Well, there you have it, party people. Ashlie Amber. Oh, my goodness. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be that good. If you see the pictures, and I encourage you right now to go to ashleyamber.com, go to the Ashlie Amber, just put Ashlie Amber in your Googles, and you're going to see pictures of this person that's just flying out the screen. I know, they're only 2Ds. They're photographs, okay? 2D photographs, and it looks like 3D. She's jumping out at you. She's coming at you. And I suspect that's how her shows are. I have yet to have the honor to see an Ashlie Amber show in person, but I suspect that will happen. I put it on the list. I put it on the bucket list. Go see an Ashlie Amber show. And if you're in the vicinity, I encourage you, check out an Ashlie Amber show. Of course, after the COVID-19 coronavirus is done. Yes, we will be out there partying with the people, having a good time. Whitney Houston, yeah. Country singing, yeah. Oh, I believe that girl can do anything she puts her mind to. I expect to see her in some acting jobs too. I see that happening. As her music career takes off, people are going to say, I'm going to make you a star, baby, a star. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ashlie Amber, for being on the program, the What Makes You Famous program. All right. This time it's when I talk to you. Yes, you, the loyal listener. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here. If you like what you hear, follow What Makes You Famous social media. Use the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Follow on Facebook at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Instagram at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Twitter at Makes Famous. And follow on YouTube at Keys Dan. Leave What Makes You Famous podcast a review and subscribe. Listen to What Makes You Famous podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and almost anywhere you find podcasts. Tell your story on my podcast, What Makes You Famous. Call 501-470-6386 and leave a message to set up a time. You can support What Makes You Famous using the PayPal link, paypal.me/KeysDan. Email info@radiowhat.com. What Makes You Famous podcast is a production of Keys Dan Enterprises Incorporated at keysdan.com. Thank you for listening. This is Keys Dan.
And this is Shelly G.
And you're listening to
RadioWhat.com.
Radio What? The music you want. With some words to live by.
Life's too short for long pity parties. Get busy living or get busy dying.
A public service message from RadioWhat.com. The music you want.